Hulk smash!
Sorry, folks, but like I said, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. So, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am the multi-voice reviewer. I have many voices, but one opinion. And right now, I'm going to be reviewing. Oh yeah, that's right. It's that time again. And you know what it is? It's Marvel-thon. Today's Marvel-thon, I'm going to be reviewing the next superhero that the cinematic universe had created. Now, he started out as the most popular superhero in the world, which he is a scientist who turned into a monster. And that monster I'm going to review, and it's from this cinematic universe here, is none other than the Incredible Hulk. Now, a long time ago, Stan Lee decided to create a superhero, which he's not exactly technically a superhero, but he wants to create a hero out of a monster. A long time ago, Stan Lee used to did a lot of giant monster rampage in the city kind of comic books, and then all of a sudden, he decided to create a superhero who is not like any other superhero. And what Stan Lee did is this. Excuse me for doing my Stan Lee impression. Long time ago, I wanted to make a superhero out of a monster. So I was thinking of a certain superhero who just changes into who was started out as a human being, and he changed into this huge, big, ferocious monster. So I combined Jekyll and Hyde and Frankenstein together. And therefore I created the Incredible Hulk. The alter ego of the Hulk is none other than the scientist who goes by the name of Dr. Bruce Banner. Now, how his origin goes is like this. You see, Dr. Bruce Banner was testing a gamma bomb out in the Area 52. And of course there is General Ross. Now, General Ross, he's a military general. Sometimes he does give Dr. Banner a hard time. But one thing you should know about him is that he's in love with the general's daughter, Betty Ross. Anyway, from out of nowhere, from his telescope, he started noticing there was a teenager who was sitting in the middle of nowhere playing with his harmonica. And Bruce Banner told his assistant to not press the button. He needs to go out there and warn the teenager. And the teenager goes by the name of Rick Jones. So, Bruce Banner went all the way to contact Nick Jones and tell him to get down, but his assistant just pressed the button anyway, and then bam! Gamma radiation got into his body. Now, he should have been killed at the time, but it turns out every time when something annoys him or something makes him really mad, he turns into the Incredible Hulk. So, what he is, he's a scientist, a brilliant, smart scientist who all of a sudden get hit by a gamma radiation, and every time when he gets angry, he turns into this huge, giant, ferocious Hulk. Now, Bruce Banner, he's a tormented soul. He doesn't want to change into a monster, and yet he enjoys the power. He enjoys the control. Like every time when something happens, it makes you feel like if there's something I can do about it. Now, of course, I wanted the monster to be gray, but it turns out that the original monster was supposed to be gray, like I imagined. But it turns out that the coloring ink had a hard time trying to get his gray color right. and I couldn't think of any other monster. So I gotta think of a certain type of monster that the Hulk can be besides gray, so therefore I decided to make him green instead. Now, General Ross, he was a military guy who hated the Hulk. The reason why he judged him because he looks like a menace, he looks like a monster. And he always hire his military goons to capture him so they can dissect and study him or destroy him. Excelsior! And that is my impression of Stan Lee, ladies and gentlemen. I know how some of you feel. It's really sad that he is gone, but he will live on in our memories. Now, one thing I also remember that a long time ago, back in the 70s, according to my Marvel television and movie universe book that I got from a friend of mine, a long time ago, let's see. Back in the 70s. Everybody remembers the Incredible Hulk TV series, starring Bill Bixby as Bruce Banner and Luke Ferrigno as the Incredible Hulk. And here's what he looks like, all green. And everybody remembers the TV show. Although I did heard that they were planning to do a She-Hulk series, sort of a spin-off to the Incredible Hulk, but sadly, that didn't catch on. And thank God they didn't, because the actress who played Red Sonja, they wanted her to play She-Hulk. And everybody knows about her performance. And you know, since this is a Hulk review, I'm going to open... I have this Encyclopedia Hulk book. So I'm going to open it up and introduce some of the characters. Like, for instance, there's Dr. Bruce Banner. And of course, in his past, he had an alcoholic, abusive father. So most of the time, he always turns into the Hulk. He becomes the Hulk most of the time because he remembers the abuse he had from his father. What an a-hole. Here's Betty Ross, the General's daughter, the one who loves the Incredible Hulk. Oh yeah, that's right, they also ended up married. And of course, General Ross, the arrogant, military, warmongering monster, I would like to call him, because he judged him over his appearance. You know, the real monster is General Ross himself, because he just really wants to hunt down and capture Bruce Banner so he can dissect and study him. And sadly, they didn't make any, after all that years from the TV show, they made one movie called Hulk, which I have to tell you folks, that movie just called plain Hulk, it was terrible. The movie was awful. I mean, I love Jennifer Connelly, but, when she played, Betty Ross in that movie, she was just as unemotional. She didn't show any emotion. And the actor himself was... I mean, he was no Bill Bixby himself. But one thing I would say, the movie was really terrible the first time I saw it. I mean, the first time I saw it, I was like, what the hell was that? It was terrible. It didn't make any freaking sense. But the video game pretty much eased the pain. I played this video game on PS2, and it was a whole lot better than the movie. Why is it that every time when somebody make a video game adaptation based from a really great movie, the movie turns out awesome, but the video game they base from it is awful. But when the movie is terrible, the game was a whole lot better. What's that about? Anyway, Now I got the origin and the first movie and the TV series out of the way, let's get to the MCU version of the Incredible Hulk. Now, in this movie, you have Edward Norton. Edward Norton, he plays Bruce Banner. And instead of just showing the origin, they just shows clips of it, trying to speed up the origin story and get right to the story. Right into the main focus of the story. So, he gone through the gamma radiation. Even Betty Ross explains that he did the experiment because of one reason. He wanted to create a brand new super soldier serum, so he thought the gamma ray would be a perfect serum to make super soldiers. And they tested on Bruce Banner, and he turns into the Hulk, and Betsy Ross is so determined to capture Banner, get the substance, so they can use it on his soldier troops. Treating him like he's a criminal, for crying out loud. I think the real monster is General Ross himself. This is why I don't like military people, because they're so judgmental, warmongering a-holes. That's my problem with military. They're so judgmental, arrogant, and warmongering. They just love to get in the battle and nuke somebody and call it a day. I wouldn't be surprised if most military people have a Napoleon complex. But anyway, now Edward Norton, he did a pretty good job playing Bruce Banner. It's just too bad that Edward Norton, he gets replaced for the Avengers, where this Bruce Banner in the Avengers, played by, Mark Ogro, Mark Ruffalo. I always wanted to do that. Yeah, Mark Ogro, Anyway, and of course, Betty Ross is played by the lovely daughter of Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, Liz Tyler. And her performance of Betty Ross, having a girl like her it's gotta be like a 1 in a million. Because she is really pretty. Anyway, General Ross, he doesn't trust Banner, and if he ever meets his daughter, he would send his troops over just to capture him. And now he has this new soldier in his group who is so amazed over Bruce Banner's transformation that he decided to be experimented on and become a special soldier against Banner. And the soldier is named, well, I don't know, I forgot his name, but he's played by Tim Roth. And they gave him the gamma serum, and he's healing up, but it's starting to deform him. And of course, also Betty Ross also met this other doctor that not many people know, played by the same actor who played Phil Dunphy on Modern Family. This character turns out to be Dr. Leonard Sampson, which sadly they didn't explore his character, because one thing I remember in this comic, Dr. Leonard Sampson is a therapist and a very smart genius himself, and he gets shot by gamma radiation, but he didn't turn into the Hulk. Instead, it just made his hair turn green. But his green hair helps him get strong, but he shares the same intellect and tries to help Bruce Banner in the comics. But they just made him into a side character and nothing important. Same thing I have to say about the next character which I'm gonna mention. Now, Tim Roth finally heals up, but he also wants more. But General Ross said no, because he'll turn into a horrible monster that he hated. So, Bruce Banner and and Betty, they both went to meet this scientist named Solomon Stern. Now, Solomon Stern, he was a brilliant scientist who would be able to help Banner. And what he's been doing is he's duplicating the gamma serum from the blood that Bruce Banner has. And now he finally found a way to get the gamma DNA out of his body. It did work, and it was successful, but the military showed up. But when Tim Roth showed up, and he told Stern to give him the blood, give him the gamma blood now. And he was like, I don't even think it would, I don't think you can obtain it. And he said, I can take it, just give it to me! So he strapped him on, give him the blood, and now, Tim Roth's character turns into the Abomination. And for those of you who wants to know what the Abomination looks like in the comic, this is him. He kind of looks like a scaly, like a, well, he kind of looks like the Creature of the Black Lagoon on steroids. Oh. How do you pronounce his name? Blonsky, that's his name. Blonsky was the soldier. And now he turned into the Abomination. And a little known fact, some of Banner's blood, you see, Stern got cut on his forehead, and Banner's blood touched his cut, and now his head's going to go big. So it's going to be hinting that he is going to be the leader. Now, the leader, he was a scientist until the gamma radiation made his head 10 times bigger and it made his skin green. So he becomes this evil mastermind from the gamma radiation. So he's unbelievably intelligent, but 100% evil. So, but they forget about the leader and focus on the Abomination. So Bruce Banner decided, you better drop me. I mean, it may cure me, but for how long? I'm the only one he wants, so I'm going to go down and deal with the Abomination. So, he told Betty to slap him and push him. And as he was falling, he was trying to change, but nothing happened. He was like, oh, crap! And then he landed on the ground, while the Abomination was creating havoc throughout the city. But, finally, he changed. Now Bruce Banner become the Hulk, all roar, and finally went one-on-one on the Abomination. Just bam, smash, pow, whack, ha, 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 ha. I love a good monster fight. I really do. Anyway, throughout the whole movie, the Abomination was about ready to kill General Ross and Betty, but Hulk stopped him. And when the helicopter crashed next to them, some of the rocket fuel was about ready to touch the sparks, and it's caught the helicopter on fire. But Bruce Banner, he did a tremendous clap, created a huge wave that blew the fire away from them. But at the same time, he knocked the Abomination out on conscience. So now the military can deal with him. And as for Banner, General Ross finally realized he would have given up his life to save his daughter because he loves his daughter way too much, which he was so arrogant to understand. And it's time to get rid of the Abomination. So, Bruce Banner as the Hulk took off, and then after that he ended up in British Columbia, still trying to find a cure for his gamma radiation. And of course, after the credits, General Ross was drinking in a bar and Tony Stark showed up, hinting to trying to connect with Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk. sadly, I mean, The Incredible Hulk was really, really good. I mean, it helped made up for that first horrible Hulk movie. It bombed really bad. But why didn't they make a sequel out of it? I mean, there were so many potential, but nobody just didn't think about doing a sequel or a trilogy of The Incredible Hulk. So, MCU just make one Hulk movie and that's it? That sucks, man! Come on! There's gotta be more to it than that. Oh well. Well, this is Michael A. Grimm, aka Multi-Voice Reviewer, telling you folks, if you enjoyed this review, please leave a comment down below, hit like and subscribe for more reviews. And coming up on my Marvel-thon, the next movie I'm going to be reviewing to you today is... Oh, looks like I'm going to be digging into the Norse mythology on this one. That's right, I'm going to be reviewing the Mighty Thor. So stay tuned, folks. Excelsior!